Shalom everyone, my name is Eileen and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is about the favorite tactics of the enemy, and before that I just want to add up a video that I shared yesterday. It's like a prequel of my spiritual warfare, and I just want to add up that Jesus himself is presented as a military commander, that God himself is a military commander. And let's see in Joshua chapter 5, 13 and 14. And this verse really amazes me. The first time I noticed and I had this revelation, I am so amazed that Jesus is in the Old Testament. Of course, he is God, so he is everywhere, right? But it really amazed me. This revelation still amazes me up until today, when I know that Jesus is in the Old Testament and he's found in Joshua 5, 13, 14. Let me read it for you. When Joshua was near the town of Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with sword in hand. Joshua went up to him and demanded, "Are you friend or foe?" "Neither one," he replied. "I am the commander of the Lord's army." At this, Joshua fell with his face to the ground in reverence. "I am at your command," Joshua said. "What do you want your servant to do?" So this person is the pre-incarnate Jesus. And I know there's a lot of debates that is the angel of the Lord, but when you read in Revelation where John saw an angel and he wanted to bow down and worship him, the angel stopped him and said that we are fellow servants of God. But in this verse in Joshua, the angel did not stop Joshua in bowing down before him, and instead he said that to take off your sandals because this is holy ground. And this is one of the examples that our God is a military commander. And also in Psalms 24:8, where you can see who is the King of glory. He is strong and mighty. So our God is the commander of heaven's armies. And therefore we are soldiers of Christ, or whatever you call it. We are his troops, we are his soldiers, we are, generals, if I could say that. And so let's proceed for the 4 favorite tactics of the devil, so we will know his tactics and how we can prevent or get away from his tactics. Okay, so now number 1, his favorite tactic is delay. It is to weaken us and wear us out. And I would like to read another verse in Daniel chapter 10. It's a bit long. It's from 2 to 14, Daniel 10, 2 to 14. But I guess I won't read it all. And I trust you that you're going to read it for yourself. But it's a good story. So it says here that Daniel had been mourning and fasting and didn't eat rich food, or no meat or wine crossed his lips. And then on April 23, he saw a man dressed in linen clothing with a belt of pure gold around his waist. His body looked like a precious gem. His face flashed like lightning, and his eyes flamed like torches. His arms and feet shone like polished bronze, and his voice roared like a vast multitude of people. Only Daniel saw this vision, and he was left there alone to see the amazing vision, his strength faded, and he grew pale, and he lay down there with face on the ground. So this is, as we know, is the angel Gabriel who visited him at this time. And the man said to me, Daniel, you are very precious to God, so listen carefully to what I have to say to you. When he said this to me, I stood up, still trembling. Then he said, don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your request has been heard in heaven. I have come in answer to your prayer. But for 21 days the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way. Then Michael, one of the archangels, came to help me. And I left him there with the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. Now I am here to explain what will happen to your people in the future, for this vision concerns a time yet to come. So when we understand the story is how does it link with delay? It says here that the moment that Daniel prayed and fasted to God, God has already answered him. And the angel Gabriel was on his way to deliver the answer to Daniel. But the spirit prince of Persia, that's what we know is a principality. It's the enemy that kept the angel Gabriel from going to Daniel. So he was kept for 21 days. That's delay to weaken Daniel, to wear him out, because he had been fasting and praying. So that's a number one tactic of the enemy, and we can see this in the Bible itself. It's in the scriptures. So let's proceed to tactic number 2, that is deceit, to derail God's purposes. The enemy wants to derail us by going into extreme positions. This will happen by either making spiritual principles into a set of legalistic religious rules and getting us to react and go into hyper grace, where we do what is right in our own eyes. So this is deceit. And the number 3 tactic of the enemy is distraction, to break our focus. The enemy will attempt to make us concentrate on a side issue. A time of great intimacy with God can turn to a time of great battle, because time with God is a great threat to the powers of darkness. This I explained it on my yesterday's videos, that when we spend time with God, it's like a battle, because when you try to pray and to focus on God, you keep on remembering that you have something to do, you need to buy something, you have to message someone, or whether at your work or in your household chores. That's a battle. That's distraction. That's the tactic of the enemy. Okay, so the 4th tactic is disappointment, to magnify the weakness of others. The enemy will attempt to get our eyes on others while he magnifies their faults. This often happens through the power of offense, to get us to give in to a bitter root, resulting in bad fruit that defiles many. So it's like disappointment when you expect something from your pastors, or let's say for your leaders in a church, and then you see that there's something, it doesn't met your expectations, so you are disappointed, and this affects you, and it gives a bad fruit. So this is one of the tactics of the enemy, so that we will be disappointed, we will be discouraged by other believers, by especially of our leaders, our pastors, our senior pastors, that we cannot see them what is in our expectations. So that's the tactic of the enemy also, disappointment. And I hope you have learned these 4 tactics of the enemy so that we could avoid it. And my next video is about effective weapons of our warfare. Since we have known the tactics, so we should know what are the weapons of our warfare that we could battle, because the best best defense is offense. So we should know what are our weapons of warfare. Thank you so much for sticking to my video, and please do subscribe in my YouTube channel if you haven't done so. Thank you so much for your time once again, and see you in my next video.